Abigaile, please can you introduce yourself and your role, and within that role what social value means to you?
Yes, thank you for inviting me, Rosie. So my name's Abigaile Bromfield and I'm a leader at Homes England. Homes England is the government housing and regeneration agency. My role there is leading on advising on large-scale regeneration and new settlements as well. So it's quite an exciting role and exciting times at the moment for that. And the main remit and mission of Homes England is actually driving social justice. That is raison d'etre, and that's also why I'm there as well.
Amazing. And what does social value mean for Homes England?
Well, social value is embedded in everything that we do. We do have a role to play in ensuring we support local communities across England to actually regenerate, build better quality places and thriving places for people to live in, enjoy and flourish, basically. So that's our core remit in everything we do, and we do that through various means. We have powers in terms of regulatory powers, but also in terms of funding as well, through government funding programmes to help support, really rebalance communities and help support with affordability issues, for example. But we also provide skills, capacity and capability to help enable positive change, positive social impact locally as well as nationally.
Amazing. How do you build social value into the planning stage, and do you use any frameworks?
We embed social value in our whole organisation, and we recognise you get better impact and greater impact, should I say, if we embed social value as an outcome through the early stages. So obviously our remit's around development in particular. At the early stages, we'd be looking at investment and, in our case for a government body, business cases as well. So identifying social value as an outcome in business cases, that early stage of planning is really important. And then an area, I'm a town planner, so an area that's key to me is building social value into outcomes for the planning part of development, and also embedding that in legal agreements as well, in the design of places, and through really good quality engagement at a local level is vital to improve design and improve the outcome for places and people. And then, of course, we can then embed social value, and I'm thinking in procurement. So in terms of how we engage with our partners and how we're passing on maybe even land to other delivery bodies as well. We're still working on the best ways of doing that, if I'm honest with you, and we're working with partners to have a look at how we actually maximise the impact of social value at a local level and how we ensure that continues well beyond our initial investments or acquisitions or enabling support.
That's brilliant. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you face in embedding that social value, maybe around social housing and finance there?
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges in the sense that places are very complex, and we have a role to play in bringing partners together to deliver that. So partners can have different objectives. We take a place-based approach to our investment and our interventions now, rather than separate programmes, which can be quite siloed. We see that we maximise social value through and overcoming some of the challenges by actually sort of pooling all of our capabilities together with partners in a place-based approach. And so we create place-based outcomes, including social value, and then test and measure that as well. And that's how we're currently doing that around England at the moment.
Amazing. Can you share an example of where it's worked really well?
Yeah, so at a programme level, Homes England has partnerships for funds. For example, the English Cities Fund is a partnership with Homes England, Legal and General and Muse. And that's about targeting investment to support really deprived parts of the country and deprived neighbourhoods, working with local communities to draw in public and private sector investment for regeneration and have a much longer term positive impact. And we've seen positive outcomes already in Salford Central, down in Plymouth as well, and of course there's a local one here in the West Midlands where my colleagues are involved in Wolverhampton as well. So there's some really exciting programme level funding investment we can help with. Also at a local level here in Birmingham, we've got a great example of where we've worked through developing the reuse of a site, the Birmingham City Hospital site, with the local community, finding out what they want and their needs and building that into the design, into the planning process, and changing to create better public realm for them, for example, better access routes, rather than putting in a whole new bridge that we were originally proposing. Based on that engagement, they've got better outcomes, and that's now got permission, and we can now pass that through as a design. It's got permission to future partners to build out. So there's some great examples that I've seen Homes England involved with at programme and at local level. And I've also seen some good examples of other organisations as well. At place level, the City of London engage with lots of community groups to find out their needs, what spaces they want, and then when developers come to them to develop in their administrative area, they've got ideas to build into that development, which is fantastic. They've already know the local needs, what the place wants, what the people want, and of course build in other factors such as climate resilience into the planning process as well. And I've seen private companies like Arup, big global companies that have charity arms as well, invest their own profit into supporting local communities. And they do that here in Birmingham as well on a regular basis. So it's embedded in their culture, but they also embed it in their partnerships with clients as well. So I've seen some great different examples of public and private working in a place, which is key to me.
That's amazing, isn't it? Because it's absolutely about that, having that engagement with the local community, really getting to understand what those needs are, and then speaking to those needs, planning to those needs. So to get those local outcomes, it's so important. So what do you see the future trends being in terms of social housing?
I think, one of our main roles is actually the key funder and running the affordable housing programme, and that is significant in this country, £7.5 billion. But that alone is not enough. So one of the key things for me that's coming through the trend is getting that balance right and going back to building partnerships to create better place-based interventions. So one particular fund to help support is not enough. We need to really maximise the value of that fund by working with other partners, and that does include community groups, to make the most for a place. And I see that as a growing trend, really, to work also in more formal partnerships. Here in the West Midlands, we were talking this morning, actually, colleagues and I, about climate resilience, and that's very important for social justice and social value, and being able to respond to climate resilience locally. There's been a lot of fantastic informal partnerships here in West Midlands, but as Homes England, we're developing a more formal partnership, a strategic place partnership, and elsewhere as well. And through that, we'll look at how investment in regeneration and new homes as well can really benefit people in the wider place, and we have to do that in partnership with other public bodies, so primarily the combined authority here, but also with the private sector as well, and that helps to formalise things. It gives more certainty for local people, for global investors maybe as well, and it actually gives a clear mission and vision for everyone, which is very, very powerful. So there's probably a trend there in seeing more formal partnerships coming through to respond to the climate crisis, to respond to the need to really ensure levelling up as well.
Yeah, and it's so pressing. We see it across the world. We see it kind of in our own city and region as well. So we just know that things need to significantly change to enable communities to be safe and remain within their communities. The kind of whole retrofit agenda is just so important. So Abigaile, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks.
Okay.